Hello, and welcome to Total War Warhammer 3. It's finally here. New campaign, of course. Realm of Chaos. Got 8 factions, though only 3 of them have more than one legendary lord at the moment. We got Sardina, Katerin, and Kostalton over here in Kislev. I haven't actually unlocked Horus yet. We got Demons of Chaos with Daniel from Accounting, or whatever it was from their intro video. Got a nice little generate name, or you can just say, like, Daniel from Accounting. We got Grand Cathay.
First daughter of the Celestial Emperor.
Got Ogre Kingdoms. We got Korn. With Scarbrand. Nurgle with Kugath. Slanesh with Nakari. That is a very pink purple background. And Siege with Kairos Fateweaver. So, just a quick overview of the characters. I think for our first campaign, at least the first one on the channel, that is, I've played the prologue campaign, and I'm doing a couple of others on my own. Because after all, I can't help but play it. I'm thinking maybe we go with Nurgle. After all, they do bit of a slow, turtley gameplay, and I tend to like that. We're just gonna do normal and normal. Don't yet have any specialities. Alright. Got a new little portrait for Advisor Man here. I'll even let the intro cutscene play, once it loads, of course, mind you. These dudes are pretty disgusting looking. Also reminds me of something. Why do a lot of Nurgle's units become Cyclops? Because Nurgle himself isn't a Cyclops, but a lot of his units end up that way, and I'm not entirely sure why. Like, yeah, I know Chaos mutations and whatever, but, like, generally you either keep the same number of eyes the base unit had, or you end up with, like, more eyes, not less. I find that a little odd. Oh well. Anyway, Nurgle's campaign. Slow and steady. Although, once the Chaos portals start opening, I'll have to keep my legendary lord in there pretty often, just to make sure I can unlock the finish and prevent anyone else from finishing, because, oh wow, this is a campaign where you actually can lose. Warhammer 2's Vortex campaign, you had a good chance to prevent the AI from winning, because you could just teleport over to the final battle. Not quite as much in this game. So, yeah. Have to actually pay attention to the narrative campaign. Of course, granted, once the Immortal Empires, or whatever they're gonna call it, is released, we'll switch over to doing campaigns there, because, good grief, dealing with the Chaos Portals is silly. By the way, it's loading more than just the cutscene, so that's why it's taking a little while. And it's not because I have a bad computer or anything, they need to optimize the game some more. There's some, problems. Anyway.
The gallows tree, dwelling of Kugath, father of plagues. There is no greater brewmaster of phage and pox than he. To describe the squalor of the fetid sewer is impossible. I risked my very flesh to tread it. Kugath thought me but another specimen for his grotesque experiments. Before the rot consumed me, I offered something finer. Belagor has imprisoned the god-bear of Kislev.
Oh, how delightful. If Belagor has struck, there'll be plenty of carrion for me.
Ursun himself lies dying, fatally wounded in the Forge of Souls.
A dying god. The finest corpse from which to brew a plague.
A god pox, mighty Kugath.
A god pox. Why, you tempt me, old man. But I cannot reach the Forge of Souls. The Maelstrom prevents us.
I can reach it and guide you to the dying bear.
And why would you do this, little healthy mortal?
For a single drop of Ursun's blood. That is my fate.
Damn it! Blood for you, the body for me.
Well, that didn't take much convincing, now did it?
Our goal is to harvest the god bear's corpse. The perfect specimen to create the most unholy of plagues, the god pox.
I love the murk, but this time I require clarity. Infected you'll be if you do not allow me to see.
Our travels from the gallows tree to the sunken sewers place us much closer to mortal lands. All the better for you to unleash your brews and ensure we are powerful enough to breach the realm of chaos when the time comes. Ogres encroach on our land and squat in Glutport, our access point to the frozen sea. Get rid of them. We must be wary of leaving our eastern flank exposed even as we look south. For hated dwarfs recolonize Karak-Dum, a beachhead in the Chaos Wastes they have no intention of losing. And southwards, just across the sea, are tribes of mortals, followers of the dark gods, easy to corrupt and make puppets of, or even vanquish. Food for your plague bearers. But it is through Black Blood Pass where frail Kislev lies supine and ready for infection. You shall bring misery upon its people before defiling their god. I can see you are eager to begin, feculent brewmaster. So let us conquer in Grandfather's name.
Alright. Actually in the game now. How they play. Yeah. Cyclical buildings, that's the main thing, and I'll show you here. You build the bottom one, and then it will rotate through up to whatever level your city is at, and then head back down to the start, and just keep on rotating. Very interesting in my opinion. Exceptions to that are like your special buildings, landmark buildings, which in this case is the Court of the Covenant, but just about all the others except for your anti-Skaven building are all cyclical. Also, you might notice something missing in the defense menu. Walls. We have no walls. Which, ironically for the smaller settlements, is a good thing, because with the new siege system, you don't actually want walls. It's a little odd to me, but yeah. No walls. Engage the enemy. Get a plague ridden. So we got our plague cauldron here. Can't do it directly on enemy armies or cities, but we can do it on our own. Unholy manifestations. That one's for all the chaos, or the 4 primary chaos factions. Chaos Undivided doesn't have that, and then you have 4 different things, but they all require corruption, which is not a little fly up here. That's infections. That no, I don't want to use it. That is what you use in here in the plague cauldron to make a plague. Got all sorts of symptoms to unlock, and then some recipes which have basis in the lore. For instance, Nurgle's Rot, the most infamous of Nurgle's plagues. And then you've got Grim Shakes, Green Pox, Black Plague, yes, Black Plague, and the Crumbling Ague, at least I assume it's Ague, not like Ague or something, I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce things sometimes. Anyway, technology tree. This is actually an interesting way that they've set up the technology trees for the 4 chaos factions, in that you have, in the case of Nurgle, you have 7 techs and then 7 squares of techs. So, and then you need 4 just to go down. So you actually have a very interesting thing where you can just click way at the end and queue up tons of technologies. Not that you necessarily want to do that, mind you, but anyways. So I'll show techs as we unlock them. So we got leadership for Nurglings, diplomatic relations with Khornate and Slaneshi factions, cycle time -1 for Plague Flesh Poppy buildings, armor-piercing weapon damage for Chaos Furies. Their Chaos Furies are a low tier unit, but so are Nurglings, except for the fact that Nurglings can be turned into a hilarious doomstack. Spore diffusion, just growth. Viral incubation, growth plus 10 in settlements for chaos climates. And then highly infectious gives you a new plague symptom. These are useful, plague symptoms. In this case, I think we'll just grab spore diffusion first. Early on, growth is
grandfather's children.
important. Thank you for the narration. Yeah. So I like having an economy building or two, but let's see. In this case, I'm going to grab the control building because control's not looking very good right now. Mostly because our corruption is garbage. So, goodness. We're gonna get this one, and then each time it cycles, it'll give us a unit of Nurglings. Same for literally everything else in the infrastructure tab. Advanced military, the Living Tree of Decay gives us Chaos Furies and Plague Drones of Nurgle, along with the Death's Head variant. The Lesser Garden of Blight gives us Nurglings, Beasts of Nurgle, and Great Unclean Ones. Regular Military gives us Plague Bearers and Exalted Plague Bearers. Forsaken of Nurgle, Spawn of Nurgle, and Soul Grinders of Nurgle. This one gives Plague Toads and Pox Riders. And then this one doesn't give anything. Alright, yep, here we go. Fungi of Defilement. Now, Nurgle can actually just instantly summon their units, which is really nice, actually. So if you have the money, you can just instantly summon them. They won't be at full health, but
Specimens for the battle study.
yes. So they're at about 3/4 health, which isn't bad, but it makes it a lot easier to stuff your armies. So we can immediately come over here, fight these guys, and they don't have very many. I don't think I need to actually show you the field battles. They're the same as regular Total War 2 Warhammer. Yes.
Nurgle's love shields us.
And then our options are incubate captives for infections, devour captives for at this moment, very tiny replenishment, not really worth it in my opinion, and offer as tribute for our gold, or in this case as it's called, favor. The most useful of this at the moment is actually infections.
Let them spread infection.
Yes. Enemy kills. A hero comes. Recruit more units. Sure. Vile Sword Lungron. This here is our plague-ridden hero. We need to add him to the army. He's basically a wizard, more or less, with the lore of Nurgle, which is okay, except for the fact that it has the most powerful healing spell ever, which is, I'll show it to you over here. Fleshy Abundance. 1.6% heal per second. That is really good. But, yeah, so, Route Marcher first. Campaign movement range is still important. Our detail screen is a bit different. It's actually a lot easier to deal with. We can drag from this list in here instead of having to click on one of these and go through a list there. Quests for items are on their own screen, in this case, necrotic missiles. No longer on the skills screen, which, that's a change that I'm perfectly fine with.
A most satisfactory outcome!
I may need to turn down that talking bit. Our objective screen currently just has recruit units.
Specimens required.
Just grab a couple of plague bearers.
Plague
There we
spirits
go.
are useful.
Capture and occupy Gluttport for a potion of speed.
The fated brewmaster.
Point. The decisive victory. Though I will actually manually fight this one, or maybe not. Actually, most of the way through the episode at this point. I don't know. This doesn't look like a good map to do it on. Show you the new. What is? It says casualties medium. Don't actually lose anybody, so.
Battle! The ultimate experiment!
The auto-resolve still has the improvements from the end of the previous game, but it's still kind of drunk. Believe me, it's still not totally fixed. Same options as usual: occupy, loot and occupy, sack, raise.
Anew!
Obviously, we want to occupy, because that's what the quest is for. Province 0, Cliff of Death. So, we don't actually get a building here because, of course, it's a port. Yay! Unassigned skill.
Must test my contagion.
The Inspiring Presence has gotten a huge boost in that you now get 75 experience per turn for your Lord's Army. Now, this was not the case in the previous game, at least not for the player. The AI basically got that unit experience gain, which was just straight up cheating.
Rots. Prepared.
Anyway, so Plague-ridden, we got magic. And in this case, I'm gonna use him for my Nurgle's Fleshy Abundance. Also, Arcane Conduit. That's nice. It's changed. Just adds power recharge speed instead of whatever it did in the previous game, which didn't really work until you got the Grand Arcane Conduit. Anyway. Not the greatest lore, but it does have a really good healing spell. Like, really good healing spell. And Blight Boil is actually pretty good. Most of the others, not so much. Although, Children of Nurgle is a good passive, because it's a healing. It's a only 0.2% healing, but any healing's better than no healing. Anyway, back to details. Over here, Potion of Foolhardiness and Potion of Speed. Kugath is hideously slow. Actually, most of Nurgle's units are hideously slow.
I'll concoct a perfect plan.
Okay, that's getting silly. Audio. Going down. little quieter. Probably do the same for the master. Light change. Okay, and that's all we can really do here. Turn 1, complete. Only took us 25 minutes. But it's the first episode of this game, so I gotta actually introduce so much stuff. Anyway, still 3 more turns for that. And we got a lot of injured units. You know what we can do? We can combine them. And then recruit a new one.
The grandest experiment.
Same with some of the Nurglings. A lot less units, but they're a lot healthier, so. And it frees up space if I wanted to have some more. Anyway, Storm Vrak Mount. VR is a very odd combination of words. Anyway, move on over. And next turn, I believe I shall actually use the Plague Cauldron. See if I can't spread it. Spore diffusion. Nice. Plus growth. I missed that mission screen. Okay, we're gonna grab that next one.
Pestilent cause.
Recruit even more units to get the standard of Seeping Decay. 10% weapon strength. That's actually pretty good. Not gonna lie. Kugat. So we don't actually have, like, any symptoms unlocked. Because you gotta use your plagues in order to unlock most of them. These last 5 at the bottom all have research requirements. But that's fine. Alright, so melee attack, -4 on non-Nurgle. I think the, yeah, most of them all have the same friendly effects. Fox has minus cycle time and growth on our own settlements. Buboes has minus replenishment and plus attrition for enemies. Anew has attrition and minus movement range for enemies. Rot is actually the odd one out for the positive effects in that it's gives you Nurgling units, which isn't bad. Nurglings are a nice, cheap, expendable unit. And you can actually build Kugaths such that you can have a ridiculous Nurgling army. Anyway. So we're gonna come over here. Decisive victory. I'm actually going to wait because to see if I can get the infection on the settlement first, and then beyond that we'll actually probably do the battle at the start of the next episode. In the meantime, we didn't actually get the infection. That makes me sad. Sad, sad, sad. Oh. Not much I can do about that, though. Well. That'll have to be it for this episode, and we're actually ending on time for our first episode of Total War Warhammer 3. Next time, we actually do that battle. See ya!